You're listening to Health Professional Radio with Henry Acosta. I'm Henry, and today our guest on the show is Michael Randall. Michael is the Managing Director of Mediband. Mediband provides ready-to-wear and custom engraved identification alert bracelets in various styles. So it can be a rubber band around your wrist or even a cool steel bracelet. Along with Mediband, there is MedibandPlus. With MedibandPlus, you not only get a Mediband but also a 24-hour database that is accessible. It includes web-based medical information to medical personnel and first responders in emergencies. This helps you live your life to the fullest without being worried about emergency situations. With all that said, welcome to Health Professional Radio, Michael. Glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Henry. It's a pleasure to be here.
So to get things started, we just wanted to know, for the listeners, what inspired you into starting Mediband?
So thank you for that question. That's a good question. Back in 2004, my children, or in fact one child, Tristan, he had an allergy to peanuts, MSG, and tomatoes, and so it grew out of that. So we obviously couldn't find anything readily available for him at the time that he could wear comfortably. So we developed our own Mediband, which was a small at that time. It was a small wristband made of silicone. No latex obviously involved in that. It's all silicone. And he wore that when he went to preschool so that they would know what allergies he had. So it all grew out of that. What started with just one little band obviously grew into more customers coming along saying, we've got diabetes, we've got this, we've got other medical conditions, and that's where we grew from.
Wow, then that sounds really interesting, and it sounds like it helps out a lot of people.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, so with regards to that, Mediband and MedibandPlus, what do you get with MedibandPlus?
So MedibandPlus is our online medical database. When you do buy a Mediband, which are available in most pharmacies around Australia, indeed around the world, you're not pushed into MedibandPlus. You don't have to have MedibandPlus. It's just an additional service. So basically, MedibandPlus is an online medical database, stores the customer's detailed information. So in an emergency, all someone needs to do is, rather than going to the main website, medibandplus.com, which is very long-winded, they just go to medibp.com, enter the person's 6-digit membership number. That brings up all of their details. They could literally write an essay in there, but it's all put into various areas so it's readily accessible and easy to understand. The first responder can also send their details to their emergency contacts so that they're notified in that emergency. But as I said, it's the membership to MedibandPlus isn't necessary. Customer can choose to just have a Mediband and wear the Mediband, which would have the relevant information on it as well, contact details, what the person has, such as diabetes or allergy or Xarelto or warfarin, and so on.
So for people who are healthy, why would they wear Medibands?
Someone who doesn't have a medical condition need not wear a Mediband. For example, although we have had a number of people travelling with kids overseas who, if they get lost, purely for a non-medical reason, would wear a custom Mediband, which we customise with contact details on. We can do other languages on there as well. So we can do it in, for example, we made one the other day in Arabic for someone who has a peanut allergy, travelling from the US to one of the Arab states. So for those reasons, obviously customised, their details on it in English and also in the language of the country they're going to.
Yeah, and with regards to MedibandPlus, can you tell us how the database works, and can you give us examples on with regards to like emergency situations, like how does it help?
Yep. So if someone is found in the street unconscious wearing their Mediband, it would have a thing on the Mediband, a statement on the Mediband saying go to medibp.com. It would have their 6-digit number. The first responder would log into medibp.com, type in that person's details. Their full details would come up, and the information is seen on their phone. So it's rather simple. So there's no messing around with calling a service up to talk to someone. You might be on the phone to 000 or 911 in the US, for example, and you can't talk to someone else in regards to someone else's details. So you look it up on the phone and go that way. But as I said, you don't need MedibandPlus. You can just use Mediband by itself because they're already low-cost items, which help a lot of people to be able to wear them. So we do the stainless steel and gold ones as well, but there's a very large call for the silicone ones because they're better in an OH&S situation. So people, for example, not just children at school playing sports where the metal can catch on things, they can be worn under many different circumstances, industrial applications as well.
I see. And how much does it cost to sign up for MedibandPlus?
So MedibandPlus is only around about $8 per year. So it's very low cost. Wow. The actual Medibands themselves, they're anywhere between $5.95 and $9.95, $11 or so, depending on what style. We have bold ones where the condition's written on the outside. We also have reversible ones with the Star of Life symbol and the Mediband logo on the outside. So there's a lot of different styles. But the great thing about Mediband is that just recently we received a private ruling from the ATO. So all Medibands now are GST free. So there's no tax on Medibands. And
with regards to the pricing, how many Medibands do you get? And can you also get some for your family members or friends?
Most definitely. So the ones that are sold in pharmacies and hospitals, Diabetes Australia and some allergy clinics around Australia as well, they are in stock ones, and they generally vary between $5.95 to $9.95. They're already pre-engraved with the condition on them. The custom ones, we sell 7 at a time, so if you lose some, you've always got one spare, so you don't have to send it off to get repaired. You've always got one there in the car or the office as a spare or a backup, because if you've got a medical condition, you really want to wear that at all times.
Wow,
and sorry, they're around about $35 for 7.
Wow, that's actually a pretty fair price. Yeah, that sounds great. And with regards to the Medibands and MedibandPlus, what's usually the most common misconception that just bothers you?
Also a very, very good question. We don't have many misconceptions as such. Some people get confused between MedibandPlus and Mediband, not knowing that MedibandPlus is just an additional add-on that they don't need to have. But I guess one of the greatest misconceptions actually comes from our competitors, where people are told that these are seen as an awareness band, like a fundraising band, which they're not. All Medibands contain on the outside a Mediband symbol, which is trademarked around the world, as well as the Star of Life symbol, which clearly identifies it as a medical condition band or a medical ID band. So that would be our largest misconception. But that's over time, since we've been around since 2004, that's a misconception that is largely sort of myth. We've got pharmaceutical trials who utilise Medibands in large-scale pharmaceutical trials, which obviously it goes through their clinical boards to make sure that it's safe and easy to use, and also easy to see that it's a medical ID. So that sort of stands the test of time in that respect.
And for all our listeners right now, specifically health professionals, what do you want them to learn about Mediband?
I guess if you're wearing a medical ID, there's obviously Mediband. There's a number of other different providers out there. I think it's important to at least let everyone know that there are options for people. There's expensive options. There's low cost options. There's those in between. I think if you've got a medical ID, it's important to wear a medical ID. So I guess that would be my take home from this is that if you've got a medical condition, it's important to wear a medical ID, because if you can't speak for yourself, the Mediband or medical ID will be able to talk for you in an emergency.
All right. And for those interested in purchasing Mediband and MedibandPlus, and maybe even talking to you, Michael, what's the best way to do that?
Sure. So basically, if you go to our website, we sell the Medibands at www.mediband.com. The MedibandPlus membership can be obtained from www.medibandplus.com. And of course, we're also sold in a very large selection of pharmacies around Australia. Allergy clinics stock us as well. So if you're going to an allergy clinic, they might well truly have Medibands there. And, of course, hospitals and Diabetes Australia, some of the sub-branches around, such as New South Wales and Victoria, they stock Medibands on their shop. So there's a great range of areas where you can purchase them from.
Yeah, and is it available worldwide? And let's say people from the States, how long will it take them to get their Medibands if they order?
Yep. So if you're ordering in-stock Medibands in the US, as I said, we have in-stock ones that we ship out same day. So we basically could get them there within around about 2 to 3 days. Mm-hmm. They're also stocked on Amazon in the US. Custom ones normally take around about 7 to 10 days for production, and then we ship them. So you're looking at around about anything from a few days to a couple of weeks or a week for the custom items.
All right. Well, that's all our questions for today, and thank you so much for coming on the show, Michael.
No, thank you very much, Henry. It's been my pleasure.
And that was Michael Randall, the Managing Director of Mediband. We just finished talking about Mediband and MedibandPlus and how they help people with certain conditions to live free of worry. If you want to learn more about his products, you can go on www.mediband.com. That's MEDIBAND.com, and www.medibandplus.com. That's MEDIBANDPLUS.com. And if you're interested in more health-related topics such as fitness, medical research, and current news in the health industry, you can go to www.hpr.fm. We're also available on YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Don't forget to follow us and like us on all main social media platforms for more updates. I'm Henry Acosta. You've been listening to Health Professional Radio.